And maybe the humidity.
The lack of it thereof.
Because it's just getting a lot drier out there. Take a look at where we are right now. We're at 27%. So it is down considerably from where we were earlier this week. Temperature-wise, so not too bad. We're at 73 degrees here in Albuquerque. Around the state, skies are mainly clear as we continue to get a lot more dry air pushing in across New Mexico. And that is going to be the trend going all the way into the weekend. Temperatures are going to stay above average, and we're going to continue to see very few storms around. The storms will be relegated to mainly just the higher terrain, and even there they will be very few and far between. Just a few stray storms for the northern mountains perhaps, and then up in the Four Corners we could see a few stray storms there too. Temperatures will continue to run on the hot side once again. We're talking highs in the 90s for much of central and eastern New Mexico. For your Friday, tomorrow, we'll watch for a few stray storms out across the western high terrain. Temperatures will continue to climb up out east, and with high pressure still hanging around, we're going to be talking a very lean crop of thunderstorms for our mountains. Very, very few and far between there once again. Going into the weekend, we do start to see some changes move back in. We're going to get a little more moisture, especially for the second half of the weekend, starting to push in from the west, and that's going to mean better chances for storms up in the Four Corners, along the western high terrain, and down across the Gila in the southwestern part of the state. Up in the northern mountains, we could see a few more storms too, but out east, we're going to continue to run very, very dry going into next week. There are indications of a change in the weather pattern where we'll start to cool things off a little bit, get a little bit more moisture in, and that'll mean better chances for afternoon storms, even for some of the lower elevated areas. But for now, we're just going to be dealing with the heat and mainly dry conditions. So if you have outdoor plans this weekend, it'll be a good time to get out and do it. It's just going to be hot, but you shouldn't have to worry about dodging too many storms. Temperature-wise right now up in Santa Fe, a little more crisp this morning. We're starting off at 56, mid-60s down in the southeast. Up in Los Alamos, starting off in the mid-60s. Highs today will top out in the 80s and 90s for many of us. Up in the mountains, mid-80s for you, so still quite warm up that way. Southern Colorado, temperature-wise, mid to upper 80s for the next couple of days, with just a chance for a few afternoon storms, better rain chances and cooler next week. Northwest New Mexico, a mix of sun and clouds here. Storm chances stay very slim as we go into the weekend, looking a little better for next week. Down in the southwest, highs in the 80s to low 90s, and we'll continue with just that slight chance for a few stray afternoon storms, looking better for storm chances going into early next week. For the southeast, no rain or storms to talk about here, just talking about the heat. 95 today in Roswell, and we'll continue with highs in the low to mid 90s into the weekend. For the northeast, mostly sunny skies with highs near 90 for Springer, 90 in Roy, and Las Vegas will top out in the mid 80s next week. You'll fall back to the upper 70s for highs as we try to get a front in to bring in some more moisture and cool things off a little bit. Up in the northern mountains, very spotty with the storms here. For the weekend, again, if you're planning on heading up to the mountains, it's looking pretty dry. Even on Sunday, though we will see a few more storms around, they're still going to be very spotty and few and far between. But going into next week, we will see a few more storms around as we get more moisture into the area. East Mountains, highs in the mid 80s today, and your forecast for the metro, low 90s with more sunshine. Your 7-day forecast here showing highs will be, again, up near 90 as we go into the weekend. A little cooler next week. We'll try to get a few afternoon storms going around Albuquerque to bring us a little more rain for next week. Tonight, Zozobra up in Santa Fe. The weather should be fantastic for it because we're not going to have to worry about rain or anything like that. The wind shouldn't be bad.
Oh, perfect.
So temperatures will be dropping a little bit as the sun goes down, but I think it's going to be very comfortable and really a great weather day for it.
Yeah.